Hey guys, it's Cynical Who and welcome back to another video. Now, with the recent triumph of my top 10 classic series stories video, I promised I would make a new series edition, so here we are, let's get into it. Number 10. Human Nature and the Family of Blood. Interesting story here by Paul Cornell, being an adaptation from a Virgin New Adventures book. I love this story. This has the potential to be David Tennant's best performance as the Doctor, or should I say John Smith.
I'm John Smith. That's all I want to be, John Smith, with his life and his job and his love. Why can't I be John Smith? Isn't he a good man?
Yes.
This story does everything right. Performances are top-notch by everybody. This story also introduces the concept of a chameleon arc, which was expanded on later in the series, and also in the most recent episode of Doctor Who, Fugitive of the Judoon. Number 9. Boomtown. Boomtown is probably the most underrated New Who episode of all time. Mostly regarded by fans as rompy or filler, but Boomtown is so much more than that. This story acts as a fantastic sequel to Aliens of London, as well as tying together multiple other plot threads from the series, such as Mickey and Rose's relationship, in which that scene is done perfectly, and also throwing the Ninth Doctor into yet another moral dilemma, in where Christopher Eccleston is at his best.
I'm blonde Phil Fudge Pasamir Day Slovene. That's what it'll say on my death certificate.
Nice to meet you, blonde.
I'm sure.
Said dilemma leads to some fantastic scenes between the Doctor and Blomfell Fudge, with some great witty dialogue and some moments that show how far the Ninth Doctor is willing to go to justify her execution. Number 8. Father's Day. Father's Day is one of the first Doctor Who stories I ever saw, having it taped off TV back in 2005 and rewatching it over and over again. But only in recent years have I come to admire the beauty of Father's Day. This episode tackles the theme of paradoxes brilliantly and is one of the most emotionally moving. The score by Murray Gold is the outstanding factor of this episode, and I can't help but feel that maybe putting this episode in black and white may give it a bit more atmosphere. Number 7. Dalek. Dalek is one of the most iconic episodes of Doctor Who ever. Personally, I'd always thought this episode to be somewhat overrated. Not bad in any sense, but not as good as people were praising it to be. Again, like a few on this list, I've grown fonder of it in recent years. Dalek is a landmark in Series 1. It ups the stakes for the rest of the series and changes the Doctor and Rose's relationship for the better. Penned by Robert Sherman, my favourite Doctor Who writer by the way, this story is an adaptation of one of his prior Big Finish entries, Jubilee, which I haven't heard, but from what I gathered sounds like a rather interesting story. Christopher Eccleston cements his portrayal as the Doctor in this episode. His performance is incredible.
Exactly! I wanted to touch the star!
You just want to drag the stars down and stick them underground underneath tons of sand and dirt and label them. You're about as far from the stars as you can get.
Number 6. Aliens of London and World War III. Again, this story is pure nostalgia for me, but even still, Aliens of London is quintessential RTD. Everything about this story is top-notch. The Slovene proves themselves to be a worthy villain, and once again the Ninth Doctor is faced up against another ethical dilemma. Mickey, as before shown to be a bumbling masculine archetype, is given something to work with here, because this is where his relationship with Rose begins to collapse. I wish the whole plot of Rose disappearing for a year had some more lasting effects, especially with Jackie.
What, you find her on the internet? Just go online and pretend you're a doctor?
I am a doctor.
Prove it. Stitch this, mate.
Also, I seem to be the only one who notices a massive plot hole within this story. The dates. Rose leaves the Doctor in 2005, and they go away for 2 adventures, and they come back, and she's missed a whole year. But the year is still 2005. Surely it should be 2006? Or maybe Rose was set in 2004? Maybe I'm missing something here. Number 5. Utopia, The Sound of Drums and The Last of the Time Lords. Again, I sense a running theme here. I remember when I was 7, I bought Doctor Who Series 3 Volume 4 and wore out the DVD. And yes, the ending is in one word, lazy. but this shows how capable the Master is and the efforts he will go through to torment the Doctor and destroy his world.
Master, pretty please.
Oh, all right then. It's me. Hello! Sorry, I have this effect. People just get obsessed. Is it the...
I love the apocalyptic feel of this story and the dire circumstances Martha is put into when the responsibility is hers to save the Earth.
What are you talking about? I'm taking control, Uncle Sam. Starting with you. Kill him.
Number 4. Silence in the Library and the Forest of the Dead. This story and the next two on this list are the only episodes that do what Doctor Who is meant to do. They scare me. I'm not afraid of weeping angels, Daleks or Axons, you name it, but I am afraid of the sheer psychological terror and manipulation that occurs in this episode. Part 2 stands out particularly to me. I get chills even thinking about the whole Dr. Moon plot. The way Donna's life goes so quickly and she's aware of it is some scary shit.
And then you remembered.
Number 3. Midnight. Again, running in the theme of psychological terror, this story really nails that aspect and does something fantastic with it. The villain is left unknown, and I can draw many parallels between this story and Scherzo, which is funnily enough my favourite Doctor Who story ever. But there's something about this. Maybe it's the base under siege element, or the stunning performances from the cast as the characters turn themselves inside out in this story, and they're pushed to their absolute limits.
Do we have a deal?
Number 2. The Waters of Mars. The Waters of Mars once again scares me. The Flood are a terrifying villain, with a great concept. The theme of base under siege from a disease story is done brilliantly. The way everybody goes, one by one, and the Doctor can do nothing about it but watch, knowing what is coming.
They're on the roof?
I love how the Doctor goes too far in trying to save the day, realising what he has done is wrong, and subsequently leads to the suicide of Adelaide Brooke. Honourable mentions. Once again, to cut a long list down, my honourable mentions would consist of... Turn Left almost made it onto this list because it is dark as fuck and a fantastic look at what the universe without the Doctor would be like. My other honourable mentions would consist of Heaven Sent, The Lazarus Experiment, 42, Unicorn and the Wasp, Blink, and essentially every episode from Series 1. Now, my number one favourite new series story is Love and Monsters.
My name is Elton, not to be confused with...
Yes, I know what you're all thinking, but I don't care, because I adore Love and Monsters. It's one of my favourite Doctor Who stories of all time. Mainly due to nostalgia, but not just that. Every character is developed fantastically. The use of ELO's Mr. Blue Sky and Don't Bring Me Down is what nails the nostalgia factor for me in this episode.
Because you can't beat a bit of ELO.
This story is just one big analogy for the fandom. The representation of the, shall we say, controversial Doctor Who fan Ian Levine as done by Peter Kay is superb.
And that's when it all changed. That Tuesday night in March. That's when he arrived.
Here's the fan that takes things way too seriously and pisses off everybody else in the process. You cannot get any better than Love and Monsters.
So, we meet at last.
So, thank you all very much for watching. Now, I noticed that every story on this list was an RTD era episode. Maybe that's because I'm not much of a fan of the Moffat era. So that may be another video that's going to come out soon. As for future videos, current day I'm filming this is Sunday the 2nd, so hopefully out later there should be another review for Praxius. Maybe that's out by now, probably is. Take me a few days and see whether I can get past the copyright, because it was just frustrating last time. So yeah, thank you very much guys for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.